Hi guys, this is part 2 of the fundamental unit of life, class 9th biology. I am Mrs. L.D. Gayatri, PGT Biology, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. In this part, we are going to discuss what is a cell made up of, what is the structural organization of a cell. So when we study cell under a microscope, we would come across three important features. So every cell will have three important features. One is plasma membrane, and second one is nucleus, and third one is cytoplasm. So if this is one example of a plant cell we have taken here, this is the inner, here there is a plasma membrane, and after that whatever you are seeing this part, this is a cell wall which is present in plant cells. So that we will discuss later. At present let us see plasma membrane it is having, and inside it is having a nucleus, and this fluid part whatever you are finding, this fluid part is called cytoplasm. So each cell has also got some special components within it, and these are called organelles. Okay, so what are the organelles? What are organelles? Organelles are the special components present within a cell, are called organelles. So let us see the cell membrane or plasma membrane. So when you see the cell, you can find that the outermost covering of cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. For example, when you see a room, how do we say that it is a room? Because there is a wall which is separating it from its outer environment. Like that, here also there is a membrane which is separating it from the external environment. So the contents of the cell are separated from its external environment by a membrane present. That membrane we call it as cell membrane or plasma membrane. So here, as I said, it is a room like I said, but room has a door, window like that. But this plasma membrane doesn't have all those doors, separate windows like that. But still, it can allow certain substances. It allows or permits the entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell as per the requirement of the cell. What function it is performing, based on that, it will allow certain substances to enter in, certain substances to go out. So this it also prevents the movement of some other materials. It is allowing, some will be prevented. So it is selecting the substances which it has to allow and which it has to send out. So that's why cell membrane is called as selectively permeable or semi-permeable membrane. So here one question we can note down, that is why cell membrane or plasma membranes are called as selectively permeable, because they allow or permit the entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell. It also prevents the movement of some other materials. Therefore, this cell membrane or plasma membrane is also called selectively permeable membrane. So now, next let us see what there are still some more characteristics of the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is slightly flexible, it is. To some extent, it can be stretched. And it's not that it will be stretched like a balloon. It is like small, to some extent, slightly it is flexible. And it is made up of lipids and proteins. Plasma membrane is made of lipids and proteins. So the flexibility of cell membrane in some cells is more, that it can develop the pseudopodia like in amoeba. It can take in food, that is engulfing in food, and other materials from its external environment. So, and that process of taking in food, taking some materials from outside into the cell, it is called as endocytosis. So, amoeba acquires its food through such process. So, the level of the flexibility of the cell membrane of amoeba is still more. So it can stretch its cell membrane and also form the pseudopodia. These further you will be studying in higher classes. So let us see, there are other characteristics also. Here there is diffusion, one important phenomenon which we are going to study here, that is diffusion. What is diffusion? So when you take a beaker of water or glass of water and put a drop of ink in that, it may be red ink. When you put red ink, you can find that wherever you have put the ink, you can find that there it will look first a red drop like. Slowly these molecules of this red ink, they spread into this entire water, and after some time you can see that all of them are having, entire water has turned into a light pink or light red colored you can find. So this movement of these molecules, substance, from its highly, it is present here more quantity, from its high concentration to the place where it is not there or low concentration. The movement of these substances from its high concentrated area to the place where it is in less concentration. This process we call it as diffusion. Let us see in detail. So when you see here, movement of a substance from a region of high concentration to a region where its concentration is low. Same picture once again we have seen, these red colored molecules which are there in the water, they started moving, and this movement only till it becomes uniform, till it gains the uniformity. All entire thing will turn light red in color. So this process we call it as a diffusion. It moves from the place where it is high to the place where it is low. So now diffusion plays an important role in gaseous exchange carbon dioxide and what? Oxygen between the cells as well as the cell and its external environment. So cell, how does it take? Because I told you it is covered by a cell membrane. So it has to pass through this. Carbon dioxide and oxygen can enter. The gaseous exchange can take place through this membrane, and from outside it is oxygen concentration is high. Therefore, the cell will be taking oxygen inside. Inside, carbon dioxide concentration is high. It will be sending it out. It means movement of a substance from a region of high concentration to a region where its concentration is low. This is called diffusion. So the cell also obtains nutrition from its environment through cell membrane by this process also, like movement of glucose molecules outside the cell are more than in the inside the inner cell. Then also the cell movement of these molecules will be happening by this process. So this process we call it as diffusion. Still there is another process which is called as osmosis. So osmosis is a process of passage of water. So here movement of water we are discussing mainly. In this lesson, movement of water we are discussing, that is, it is the passage of water from a region of high water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Just now we have discussed what is semi-permeable membrane. The cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. So when the roots are there inside the soil, roots of a plant are there inside the soil, in the soil water is more. So water molecules from the soil, they enter the root cells. Why? In the root cells the number of water molecules are less. So water molecules are moving from the place where they are in high concentration to the place where they are in low concentration through this semi-permeable membrane. So this passage of water from a region of high water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane to a region of low water concentration, we call it as osmosis. So example, we can say unicellular freshwater organisms means unicellular, that is like amoeba, paramecium, which are living in fresh waters like in lakes, pure water, fresh water organisms. They will be, water entry will be taking place into their body through this osmosis. Then coming to, even just now I explained, the absorption of water by plant roots is also an example of osmosis. So there are two processes we have studied. One is diffusion, another one is osmosis. So what is the difference between this diffusion and osmosis? So let us see what is the difference between diffusion and osmosis. So differences between diffusion and osmosis. For diffusion, it can occur in liquids as well as in gases. So, whereas it occurs only in a liquid medium. It occurs only in a liquid medium. That is osmosis. It doesn't require a semi-permeable membrane. It requires a semi-permeable membrane. So, it is a fast process. It is a little slow process. Hope you understand this. I told you about this movement of agarbatti when you are lighting, and you can feel the smell in the other place also. That is, the movement of those molecules is taking place very fast. So that is not requiring any membrane also, semi-permeable membrane also. So diffusion occurs in liquids as well as in gases. Whereas osmosis occurs only in a liquid medium. Whereas diffusion doesn't require a semi-permeable membrane. Osmosis requires a semi-permeable membrane. Diffusion is a fast process, and whereas osmosis is a slow process. You can write the question, differentiate between diffusion and osmosis. Still some more points are there that you can study in higher classes. Coming to, there are different types of solutions based on their concentrations. Here everything we are in relation to the living cell we are discussing. So when a solution we have taken, we discuss the concentration of the cell and the solution. So one cell we have taken, suppose, and we are keeping in water. So water is pure water. So then what is the difference between their concentrations? How do the movement of molecules will be taking place? These points we are going to discuss. So it is a relative concentration that we are going to take. That is, we compare the concentration of the solution outside the cell and the concentration of the solution, cytoplasm, which is present inside the cell. So there are three types of solutions: hypotonic solution, isotonic solution, and hypertonic solution. Three types of solutions. Let us see first hypotonic solution. So when a cell is kept in some 10% of salt solution, 10% of salt solution, whereas inside the cell it is having 20% of salt. So many things are there inside the cell. It is having different types of salts present, or any other components it is having. Because of this, its concentration is high when compared with this. So water is more here. So these free water molecules, they start moving into the cell. So here water quantity is more, free water molecules are more. Here free water molecules are less inside the cell when compared with the outer solution. So wherever water concentration is high, from there the water diffuses into the cell where here the concentration is low. Therefore, this is nothing but osmosis is happening. The solution which is having high water concentration here. We are calling it as hypotonic solution. So hypotonic solution is the solution surrounding the cell which has higher water concentration than that in the cell. So it has more water concentration and less salt. Here more salt is there, less water is there. So water will move from the place where it is high to the place where it is low. So it is coming from the solution into the cell. So and this kind of solution where the concentration of water is high than the cell, we call it as hypotonic solution. So water molecules are free to pass across the cell membrane in both the directions. They will be coming, going, but ultimately, lastly, when you see, the net movement of water into the cell will be happening. So the net result is that water enters the cell. Because of that, the cell will be swelling. The cell will be, it will swell up. So this solution, this kind of solution which has more water concentration than the cell solution, that is a cell cytoplasm, we call it as hypotonic solution. The next solution is here isotonic solution. In this isotonic solution, we can see there is the concentration of water outside the cell and inside the cell is same. Then both the solutions have equal concentrations of water outside the cell also, inside the cell also. Same water number of water molecules are there. Then it looks as if water is entering, water is coming out. But net movement of water is 0. We consider that there is no overall movement of the water. And such a solution we call it as isotonic solution. So when a cell is kept in isotonic solution, what do we mean by isotonic solution? Which has the same water concentration like the cell cytoplasm. And when it is kept in the isotonic solution, then automatically it will be there is no net movement of water we consider. So the cell will stay in same size. There is no increase in the size of the cell. Coming to the third type of solution. Third type of solution, this is a solution which has high concentration of solutes, but water is less. And water is inside the cell was more. So water starts moving out of the cell into this solution. So when the medium surrounding the cell has a lower concentration of water, so outside the cell it is having less water concentration. These are RBCs. When you keep these RBCs in a solution which has less water concentration than the cytoplasm of this RBC, so water starts coming out of the RBC. So the cell starts shrinking. It will be slowly becoming, you can find the cell membrane how it is changing, and the shrinking of the cell will be happening. So and slowly it will lose its water. So therefore the cell will shrink. Water crosses the cell in both the directions, but the more water leaves the cell than it enters, because outside water is less than inside the cytoplasm. When the medium surrounding the cell has lower concentration of water than that in the cell, it is said to be the hypertonic solution. So when a cell is kept in hypertonic solution, it will shrink. So in this we can write another question also. Define hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. And the third question can be differentiate between hypotonic, isotonic and hypertonic solutions. Thank you.